Hello there, my name is The Hedge, and today we will be transforming a pillager outpost into a pillager village full of custom structures, trees, places, and overall it will be more than just a classic tower of an outpost with a few tents and cages around it. Don't get me wrong, I really like the design of the outpost naturally generated in Minecraft world, but I think that we can do it slightly better. So for a location, I found this gorgeous valley, which looked as made for the village to be on the bottom of it. But it wasn't perfectly how I imagined it, so I made some changes and slightly terraformed it. For that, I have a useful mod called World Edit, which helps me a lot to do so. I also added a river in the middle, which will then be flowing near the transformed outpost. So now, when we have a clear canvas for us to build on, I can copy a naturally generated pillager outpost and place it on this glass platform, which I created to make designing easier for me, as I will afterwards be able to place it everywhere I want it without destroying any terrain below. I made the foundation of the tower and the wall around it to look like a reverie face to bring into this build more of the pillager vibe. Overall, I tried to keep the proportions and design elements the same as the original outpost has them, and I think that I did quite a good job keeping it at least very similar. Outposts have usually some parts which are mossy and look old or unkept, but I want our to be new and look like it's often used, so it will be neat and clean, without any vines or moss. As the next thing, I added a big wooden platform with a rounded roof, both so iconic for the pillager builds. On top of that all sits a grand crossbow guarding the whole homeland of these not-so-friendly creatures. Now remains only one more job to do, the interior, which at the end looks like this. Then I started planning out where the pillager village will be, because I really don't want to misplace it and then have to move it or even let it be not perfectly how I imagined it, which I wouldn't do, so it would mean a lot of additional work for me. After that, let's place the outpost tower here, next to the gate, which will be here in a moment, guarding the only entry inside these walls. Now is the time to build a practice court, where, every once in a while, spawns an iron golem, and then pillager novices can train shooting their strongest enemy. It has a round roof, so they will be the whole time in nice shadow and sun can't dazzle them, when they are trying so hard to aim. There are also some chests and barrel, so if the pillagers often miss, they can always load up their crossbows with a fresh amount of arrows. Coming up is this large light blue tent right next to the pillager outpost for some guards to live inside, so in case of emergency they can rush to defend others. It has this cozy interior full of pieces of curtains separating different spaces. And this one, I had a lot of fun building it up. It's a little campsite where some of the other families stay. There are two smaller tents, which are for living, and one another, which is an addition to the training court. Every place has a story behind it, and it's so awesome when it's all finished and you can imagine all the things that are possible here. And because of that, is this little place one of my favorites here. This is the bridge which connects both sides separated by this river. It is a very similar design as the main gate, because if the attackers got all the way here, the bridge would close, block their way, and they would have to get over a very stormy mess of water. So, it has almost the same use. And now comes another one of my favorite builds, and that is the Ravager enclosure. There has to be a place in the Pillager village where these huge animals live, and where else they would than here, near the water. I put down some mossy stones and boulders, so it would have some nature-looking obstacles, and the pen wouldn't be boring. There was also this line of shrubs, but it seems that Ravagers didn't really like those. Oh boy. At least these scopes of moss and flowers survived. Continuing with this, another practicing area right above the Ravagers. I know that we already have one, but I just couldn't resist to build this idea of mine. If we take a look at the design, it's completely different from the first one. It plays along more with the terrain and uses it to choose the best place for wooden walls and other things here. There are lots of little nooks and crannies where little pillager children can hide and play together, even if it's not the main use of this place. By the way, I absolutely love this one. On the other side is the next build, which alone is a villager farm with large fields, because pillagers themselves aren't really handy when it comes to planting crops. It is divided into two sections, in each one is a villager taking care of the plants. In the middle is a hut, which the pillagers put up here for them. They aren't used to building village houses, but they try their best to make it the same, at least in some parts, and made it more comfortable. And here is one possible way of the life in this village. What if the pillagers aren't always that mean? What if they are only acting tough raiding villages, and back home they aren't severe at all and enjoy the peaceful side of their life? With this on my mind, I built the next few final structures like this one, the bright shepherd house with a sheep and ravager pen close by. This whole strand was looking small at the beginning, but now, when all the builds are in place, it's like it would grow a lot. The whole village was lacking some houses for pillagers to live in and settle down, and now we don't have to worry about it. Perfect. There are 5 of them, each with a bit different style and interior, and I really like them a lot. They are all connected with paths, which also make their way to the practicing court and bridge across the river. At the end we just need to add some more details, like this tiny pond with a wooden bench and willow blowing above. Also I made the river waves to look more realistic and terraformed the terrain around. And not only this one by the water, but all over the village. Now it looks more like a home. And now when everything is finished, let's take a look at it all, shall we? So if you have watched up until now, thank you very much for watching, I really appreciate that. And if you want to take a look by yourself at this wonderful village, you can by clicking the link in the description and saving the world file. I really enjoyed putting this all together and it was a lot of work, so every kind of support will be highly appreciated. So, thank you for watching and goodbye!